And welcome to In the Zone's Race Talk Live online. There we go. Barely got that spit out tonight. It's been one of those days. We were going to do this, and we weren't going to do this, and we were. And we've had David working. What are you doing?
Well, I thought you might have had a tater tot in your mouth or something.
I think you have one.
I do.
Did you steal one of Phil's tater tots?
I sure did.
That's so not fair. I can't take you anywhere, can I?
Look at this. This is what we have at Chuck's Bar right here.
Oh yeah.
Look at the size of that burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. What is that? That's a bacon cheeseburger. Dusty, he's going to eat that right on camera, isn't he? Yes, he is. Pick up your microphone. Come on, you can talk.
Yes, he is. That's me.
Here it goes. Here, you want me to help you?
I told him I needed a clamp.
You need to turn that on for him. I don't know if we left it on or not. There we go. Now we got him. You know, on our radio show earlier tonight, Bobby was talking about how do you make a longhorn cow, he said cow, grow its horns. And now we got Phil eating a side of beef with us here.
I think it goes back to the whole eating.
Phil Boatright and Dusty Leonard with us tonight. Great group of guys. Dusty's a very good racer. Phil's going to go play with some racing stuff down in Texas a little later on. But we know him and love him as the lineup guy at Salina Speedway.
That's right.
How's the burger?
Burger's good.
All right.
Burger's good.
Yep.
I just lined it right up, right
Yeah,
there.
there you go. That is a big burger with tots, too. Yeah, that's mine. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
He can eat. I'm drinking.
Oh,
They make harder stuff behind the bar.
yeah.
Would you like to smell?
I can smell it over here already.
I don't think I need any more.
Bobby's going to be
I gotta
eating
drive.
it. He's looking at it. He's going to be eating it.
Why'd you have sit by me?
You might eat your
Sat
food
in
a
the
little
corner
quicker.
last time.
Before we started this show, somebody fed me a M&M with a chili nut in it. That's not the right combination.
M&M and chili.
No.
Spicy.
but
It's a spicy peanut inside of M&M. You know.
Really?
Yeah. We don't need to advertise for those folks, but I didn't like it, so I wanted a bottle of water to drown it with. You never know what we're going to talk about. We talked about cattle earlier, so
Gotta
did you
keep
straighten him
guessing.
out?
Talked about
No,
cows.
I didn't.
You better
I
tell
figured
him
he's
that.
on his own, and we're
Huh?
in for a surprise.
They were cows.
Cows. Longhorn cows. Is there such a... Never mind. I don't want to know. Dusty raises cattle, folks, for those of you that don't know. You know, and I hope John Feldkamp back home is watching or listening or something. He was under the weather today and couldn't make it. Well, he was going to be part of this show as well.
He's sure missing out. We're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think you got folks back home watching too, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Everybody has to chime in, and I've been getting texts to make sure they know that I should be saying more or less, and their opinions along the way.
Everybody's a critic.
I'd shut your phone off. I should. Yep.
We talked earlier, Dusty driving the late model and doing double duty this year, driving the sport mod over at Thunderhill. Picked up a win this weekend. Haven't got a win yet in the late model this year. Had 4 last year, but not one yet this year. Close. Going to get one?
I sure plan on it. I guess we'll find out if we got enough luck to do it. We've run second enough times. I think we're closing in on it. Keep making improvements to the car. Eventually it'll happen if you run up there, I think.
You ever get the feeling that you've dialed yourself out with some of the changes you make, or you think you're getting closer?
Got enough of the feel in the car. I really think that we are getting closer and finding a little bit more speed. It's taking constant adapting in the driving style of the car, trying to keep it freed up and turning good, and also just trying to run everybody else down. You constantly learning new information.
Got your start early on. What was the first car you drove ever?
74 Chevelle hobby stock
Where?
at Beatrice, Nebraska.
Really?
Yep.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Did you win?
Yeah. I
Really?
won one the first year, and then it took me a couple years to win the next one. We had a lot of solid runs, just never could get it to quite click, and kind of feels like my luck right now.
So in between heat and feature, when you're making changes to the car, you and Bryce and your dad, I mean, do you guys get together and talk, or what?
We go look at the track, kind of come back with what I feel in the heat races and the hot lap sessions, and we'll talk about it a little bit, and watch the track, how it's going to change, and how much we think it's going to change with the other classes running, And, you know, I have the ultimate final call on what we're doing with the car. I will bounce some ideas off of Bryce. Dad, not quite as much. You know, he'll give his opinion here and there on things as well.
Dad, not so much. Did you
Not
say
on,
that?
not on the setup stuff.
Okay.
He makes sure the thing looks good.
You guys, you know, that's one of the steps I need to take. You guys are washing the car in between heat races and feature, aren't you?
That's not a we thing. That's a him thing.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, he makes sure all the mud's scraped off of it. He makes sure it looks nice. He's always on my case to make sure I get that thing cleaned up good, you know, with all the sponsors on there. And they really appreciate that as well.
Well,
They
I've seen some of his, you know, old cars on Facebook, you know, and they're all nice and shiny and clean. So I can see where he's coming from.
He spends as much time on his old Nance Super Modified getting that thing cleaned up, ready to go to a car show, as it takes me to get the race car to go in a week. And he's going to set it there on the street, and I'm going to race mine. Not too much dust on them. No.
How many old cars does he have?
Dad's just got the one. Our cousin Jig's down in Texas. He's got a couple that from when his dad raced, a super modified, and then there was an old stock car. We've got one of Bryce's old late models. I think it's an 83 or 84 Lang chassis, stock stub deal, sitting around in the shed. So I know where my old Chevelle's at. I'd like to get a hold of it and restore it.
Get
see
it
what
back.
happens in time.
Yeah.
You know, those old Lang chassis in the day, those were a pretty good ticket. Those were the
Charlie was a smart guy.
He was before his time.
He built some good cars.
He
He
even built
did.
some leaf spring stuff that was pretty good.
He did. He did.
I've looked at that old car a couple times and for some new ideas, just to kind of try to keep the ball rolling on and where I'm at on things, trying to get better.
So, Phil, when did you make it into the Kansas area? I mean, you say you came from Texas. How long?
Came from Texas.
How long have you lived in this area?
Lived here since about 79.
79. So, did you go to the races? I mean, did you watch Bryce and his uncle and them? Do you remember seeing them?
I don't recall most of my races back in 79 to 80 here in Topeka, back the old Topeka Raceway.
Okay.
And
In the fairgrounds.
I did ask to be raced at 81 Speedway because my brother raced at 81 Speedway, I think, a few times.
So you watched guys like the Kosiskis. They ran at the fairgrounds in Topeka a lot. Tom Charles. I'm trying to think of some of them other guys. I'll think of it here in a minute.
I think this was BD before Dusty.
Before Dusty. How old are you?
32, the same as last show.
We just have to confirm it
Same
again.
as last show.
You never did explain to Bob. Okay, you want to be that way? You never did explain to Bobby how to make those longhorn cattle grow horns, so we might as well do that.
Well, it's finding the right combination of genetics and good feed and protein. After that,
you feed them tater tots?
no, they get a pretty good grain ration and alfalfa.
And you
Other
don't
than
feed them
that,
back the hamburger. That would be mean.
I have had one take a bite of beef jerky before, so I thought,
Really?
well, you know.
You know what you're going to be.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the feed, is it a special blend that you buy that?
Yep.
For
We
that?
work with a specialist on it, and he takes care of the blends of it. And if we need adjustments in it, I just call up. We talk to him what we're trying to do, and he'll make the adjustment in the next round of feed.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Makes life a little easier. One less thing to think
Cool.
about.
So you said you also do some farming. You got what, grain?
Beans and Milo.
Beans and Milo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot, just what we own, which is 120 acres. But with everything else going on, it keeps me hopping.
I'm sure. Yep.
Phil, you got to hold that microphone closer to you again. I got to school you again.
Oh, that guy over there.
Yeah, because Dave will tell you.
That's my bad habit. It's that way week in, week out. Me and microphone just don't go together.
His burger was in the way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Let him eat
excuse
that
and I'm
sandwich.
sticking to
Making Dusty hungry.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this year's racing for you. What chassis are you driving? You want to let that out?
I'm driving a 2013 Masterbuilt
You
Gen
like
X.
you like it?
Yes, I do. The car and me get along pretty good. Does a lot of the things I ask it to do, and it seems like we hit a combination that worked pretty well right out of the box last year, and tried to improve it this year a little bit. and I think the results are there, just not the wins yet.
You know, I don't know how to explain it to people watching and listening. Things happen pretty fast inside these cars. You know, these late models, even with a crate engine. You ever talk to yourself while you're driving the thing? You ever?
Well, I really can't say on the air what I've said to myself a couple times. Politely, it is to calm myself down real quick. Had a couple times. This year, not so much. I've been a lot more relaxed and with the car and trying to let the car do more of the work instead of me trying to egg it on. And once I did that, it really helped.
You know, these are crate engine cars. You drive them different than big horsepower cars.
Yeah, you got to drive them a lot different. You can't over-tighten them. You don't have the horsepower to turn them if you do get them too tight. And, you know, momentum seems to be a really big deal.
Have you drove an open motor late model?
Well, it technically wasn't really an open motor. It was a modified motor in one, so it was kind of a limited late model.
Okay.
I tried to trade Kelly Bowen one after he blew up a motor, and I was like, well, I'll trade you mine straight across, and he wouldn't do it.
Imagine that.
Yeah. But I have not gotten to drive one, no.
Wonder whatever happened to Kelly Bowen. Has anybody ever hear?
Don't hardly hear about him anymore.
Uh-uh.
I think he retired from racing. I think it got into the way of his work.
Yeah.
You know, he's self-employed. He's really busy, but he lost his crew chief, Doug. Doug, I think, went to Texas. There's people that know more about it than I do, and he just lost his desire. I think, I don't know, but yeah, he's busy at work too.
He would have been interesting to see a guy in a crate late model.
They said he hot lapped one, and he said he really didn't like it. He
I
had
bet
way
he-
too much time to think.
I was going to say, I bet he
I-
didn't like it with the motors that he ran.
Yeah, he ran some pretty salty stuff.
He did. Yeah.
How'd you find your chassis? What made you pick a Masters built?
We looked at several. We'd been down to Young Hands down in Manhattan, and we looked at the car there. I'd talked to some people about Schwartz cars, and the guy was selling out, and went up and looked at it, and just kind of, when I looked at the car, got a pretty good feeling about it, and decided we'd go ahead and pull the trigger on it. I'm pretty happy with that decision.
I have nothing to compare it to. I mean, in my earlier years, I drove a GRT, and those are underslung cars, and these are not. And the Masters build I had last year needed some work, and I had high hopes for this one, and I still think this one will be all right. But I like the way, and talking to the guys at Masters built, they will give you some information.
I've had a few conversations with them, not a lot. Most of what we're doing is kind of what we're learning and able to find out on our own through trial and error. There's been a lot of error that doesn't show up sometimes, but you're just off a little bit, then you run second.
I think the last conversation I had with him was when one of our new cars just won a big race down south somewhere, and I was like, he said, you ought to get one of those. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's on my Christmas list.
It's on all of our Christmas lists.
Last year being your first year in the Naismith Series, how'd you end up?
I think we ended up just outside the top 10. We didn't really run enough shows. We ended up having several wins. It's going to be really hard from this area to probably get into that top 5. I think we'll get enough shows this year. We can probably get somebody there. Problem is that we've got too many good guys to do that. We don't get that separation that you need. And I mean, we've got some guys with big win totals already. It's just going to be really hard to continue that because everybody's constantly getting faster.
Let's face it. I mean, we're racing against Delbert Smith, Chris Kratzer. Who else? Who else?
Dusty Leonard.
Dusty Leonard. I mean, Klima when he shows
Klima
up.
every once in a while.
I mean, these are good guys.
I tell you, a guy that's, and a lot of times I don't get to watch the whole feature with you guys, but a guy that I've noticed that's improving a lot is, and I can't remember his last name, but Adam Pop.
Yep, he is improving.
He has improved.
He's got such a limited number of nights in the car. He's going to be a contender pretty soon.
Yeah, he's got it going good.
He's
getting faster.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Yep.
I think everybody in this series really does a good job. It's, I mean, for me, I'm racing against guys that I used to watch race.
We've got guys that were racing before I was born.
You're just a kid anyhow.
Well, I can't help that. That wasn't my planning.
Dusty hails from Marysville, Kansas. Made the trip down here tonight to be on our talk show. You know, and he lives in Marysville, works in Washington, and you know, races all over the place. Drives a sport mod too. Let's cover that. Picked up a win last weekend at Thunder Hill. What do you think?
Oh, things kind of lined up and caught a little break. Hopefully it brings more wins in this late model deal and hopefully more in the sport mod.
Compare the two cars.
I have to slow myself down a long ways to run the sport mod.
Still like it?
Oh, yeah. I really enjoy the late model. The more I'm in it, the more I enjoy it, the more I'm learning. And some of that information has transferred over, but you're so limited on what you can do with the stock stub and shocks and stuff that makes it harder to adjust, too.
And we'll get this out of the way. We did this on the talk show. Oh, look out. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Oh, you got him.
Phil's mad.
He's eating my food. He's eating my food.
Phil's mad. A
think you
fly
were
was
that
trying
fast.
to get. Yeah, I saw that. You know, the sport mod isn't at your house. It's not your car. You don't own that one. I think you do own the late model. So it's a ways away from you. It's a couple hours away from you.
The car's kept in Tonganoxie, Kansas with Ted and Deb Pantoya, and we talk a couple times a week, and they maintain the car, and they're doing an excellent job with it. You know, we're getting better with our adjustments and everything every week. And, you know, sometimes just luck hasn't been on our side. We've recovered well about every weekend that we've been. We've got one DNF. We got too hot here a couple weeks ago. But, you know, they're just starting out. So they've got to win here in their first, 5 or 6 races. You know, there's a lot of owners that haven't done that, too.
So are they just some people that wanted to be car owners and bought a car and looked for a driver? I mean,
Yeah, they had bought the car
it, huh?
last fall and for Thunder on the Hill. So we had our maiden voyage then. And so we just jumped in it again this year after we had a successful weekend. And they asked me to drive it again. So here we are, plugging away.
What kind of chassis is it? You want to let us know, or would you rather not?
It's a 2008 Harris.
Okay.
So a little bit older car, but it seems to be a good car. And
Now you've driven some modifieds, haven't you? What
Yes.
was the last chassis you drove there?
I drove a Razor chassis.
Okay.
And I've had Harris, Belleville. You know, I had several different kinds of cars over the years. I probably had my most success in the Razor chassis, though.
Really?
Yeah. It really fit what I liked in the cars, which actually helped in the late model because I like the car laid over on the right front, and that's what we do with them.
So did that, is that the same car you turned into a sport mod then? Later on?
No. This is a car that they had picked up that had been racing down at Thunder Hill.
Okay.
I think Larry Kane was the guy that raced it last year.
I see. Okay.
And I think he jumped out, and I'm not sure what he's doing now.
Okay.
He hasn't gotten very far in his sandwich. I was giving him time to eat.
And
I just didn't want to have something in my mouth, you know, in case.
Somebody
In case
asked you
you
a
ask-
question.
Well, either asked me a question or I came up with a one-liner, one of the two.
Well, you haven't thrown any of those out either. No, what?
We've been.
You have?
Yeah. We've been
okay.
The pressure's not on us. Let's just go with that.
Okay.
I'm still stuck on the Longhorn thing. That's all.
oh my God.
Bobby is not going to live that down.
No. So I got something for Phil.
Go for
You
it.
was a familiar face over at Thunder Hill Speedway for the past few years. That's kind of where I got to know you, and now all of a sudden you're at Salina. What's the change?
Just needed some change, I guess. I really don't know exactly.
I think he missed all of us.
Yeah, you missed
Hey,
the cool
man.
kids. You missed the cool kids.
Yeah, it's the cool kid kind of thing, I guess.
I mean, you're obviously beating some new friends coming
That's-
to a different. I mean, because there's a lot of people from here in Salina that didn't go to Thunder Hill that
a
don't
lot
know
that
you.
didn't go. I'm meeting a lot that did go.
Yeah.
So either way, wherever it was I'm going to be, it's still almost the same. You know, I still see some same familiar faces. I still see some new faces, and that's the best part of doing this. It's getting out there and seeing those.
When you were over at Thunder Hill, you pretty much ran the, the
pit gate.
there.
Running pit gate, yes.
What else did you do afterwards? You just kind of hung out there all night?
Just kind of hung out, yeah. When it was all done, and they told me let them in after that. I just hung out and watched everybody.
Okay.
Or, went to pit stalls and visited with drivers, stuff
So
like
do
that.
you get to see very much of the races when you're doing your job?
Couldn't hardly see much over turn 2. Couldn't hardly. I could see a little bit of turn 4, but that's about it.
What about Salina? Do you get to walk up the hill and watch?
I get to walk up the hill up there.
That's pretty handy, ain't
and
it?
watch.
Yep.
Yep, I get to see a little bit, but still, again, the things I like to do with the track behind the scenes and stuff is, to me, more satisfying to get, guys taken care of, get them out there.
I don't know about you, Dusty, but Phil's always yelling at me. I'm never on time.
I've been on time this year,
get-
which usually I was kind of last second. I'd get that extra little call from him, kind of like, "Hey, hurry up!"
I need to get the cell phone number and start calling the cell phone instead.
He fist bumps me. I think there's another form of communication he uses with you when you're in the lineup area.
Yeah, it's
tells
involves.
you you're number one.
Yeah, he tells me I'm number one.
It's a sign.
Yeah, it's a sign. He's trying to provide motivation.
Yeah.
And it does work.
I can't remember who. There was somebody actually did say something about the fist bump, but I can't remember his name is. You're just trying to figure out how tough their fists are to get an idea how far you can go with us, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was asked. No, I just like the fist bump. I'm not trying to see if your fist, see how far I can get away or you can get away. Or I remember somebody asked me that, but I can't remember who it was.
Well, I will say it's nice having Phil come back there because he goes by everybody, wishes him good luck and everything.
Yeah.
If you need anything, it's nice to have somebody because he'll get it for you. It's not just any one person; it's everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not your ordinary guy.
Yeah, he doesn't play favorites. He treats us all the same.
I love all the drivers out there. I know what you guys do to put on a show, what it takes and everything, travel and all that stuff, and that's just the main thing.
Yep.
But
Well, you do excellent work. I know it's kind of sometimes a thankless job, but you guys all do a great job behind the scenes.
I was just going to say that's what there's so many people at the racetracks that you don't ever see, and they don't get to watch the races either. I
No.
mean, the people that run the ticket booths and all that.
Yeah, they never get to get out front and watch the races.
Yeah,
and they got to be race fans to work there.
People in the concession stands, I mean, that are there every week
Yeah.
working. And so, yeah, there's a lot of thankless jobs out there that people don't realize. And
it's hot.
we need them.
and
We
it's
need them all to
hot,
keep it going.
it's,
So,
it's still a thankful job to me because I still get it at the end of the night. Everybody comes up, and like I say, I'm not the ordinary guy, and that's what everybody seems to really like the most. Instead of being standard with procedures or whatever, calling on the microphone saying modified A feature lineup, I get on the microphone and I go, "Hey, modifieds, come down here and join me. I'm lonely." It's stuff like that.
Or, "Hey, Bill, come on, it's time to go."
It's time to go. Where you at?
Late models, Bill, I
Where
usually
you at?
don't call names, but Bill's an exception.
Of course, I'm an exception.
No, but it's stuff like that that keeps everybody calm.
yep.
And, up there in the line and stuff like that, I'll let them know that I'm there. I don't interfere with them. They get lined up, they get into their zone, I leave them alone.
And I've had a couple of people, and you can, Dusty and I chat quite a bit. Bobby and I chat some, but when I'm at the racetrack, and I'm struggling. There's no secret. I'm not happy with where I'm racing at, but Dusty's been a big help and stuff. But during the races, I'm not a very chatty kind of guy. I mean, I know that doesn't sound right, but it's true. I got a lot I'm thinking about. I mean, I got things to do, and there's I had a guy bring a video camera, and I kind of feel bad because I didn't really talk a whole lot to him. He put one of those 360 cameras in my car. I don't mean to be that way. I was worried about my car.
Now, there's a lot of things going on. You're trying to watch the track, trying to take care of everything you need to have ready to go, safety equipment, make sure the car is prepared. A lot of things going on in your mind. There's not necessarily a lot of time to go just chit-chat.
And, we're talking to you guys, not me. I'm colorblind, and I have a real problem with the track, changing colors and stuff like that. Brown is one of those colors that I just don't see well. So I asked him what the track's doing. It's the only thing I got.
Good luck.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not doing real good with that.
It's just the way it
colorblind
is.
too,
It's
so.
just the way it is.
Yep.
But
I know how you feeling.
you know, I got off the plane late last week, got to the track in time to run the A feature. I saw you running back and forth right before we were getting ready to get in the car. I was like, damn, Dusty, you better get to hurrying up.
I parked too far back to be doing that too many times. You get a little winded.
Well, you guys are. You parked like way down there, right? Yeah.
They're in a different zip code.
I know.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Just kind of stay out there, stay calm by
Yeah.
yourself, and don't have to worry about anybody else coming around. Just kind of go do my thing.
Oh, that's why you parked down there. So at the end of the night, they can't find you. They can't come looking for you to pop you in the mouth.
Well, I hope that's not the case, but there'll be one coming back if they're going to fire one.
First race out of the box this year. First lap, heat race. I stand in the gas in 1 and 2, and who do I drill?
Oh, you got him.
Yeah, I caught him. Don't worry. I got him aimed back down the back straight away.
Oh, man.
It's one of those racing deals. It happens.
Yep.
We had a little conversation. I think he understands now where I'm at and what it was all about. It's just I had to go. Thought the car would go. It just didn't turn.
Like I said, I caught you. It's not the end of the world. I've
It's
done
turning.
the same thing.
It's turning now. Now we just need to drive it. Anyhow, thanks to you. Big help. You and Bobby both.
Not a
Appreciate it.
problem.
So, and you do a lot for other people as well.
Well, it is at the end of the day supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy it. And if we're going to build the class up, we got to help one another out. Loan parts, advice, whatever. I've always been that way. Most of the time when you're really competitive and you're really quiet, everybody kind of takes it as you're not going to give them an answer to send them a direction. I'll give you the best answer I can,
And I don't think there's any other master-built race cars out there other than yours and mine, is there?
I don't think so right now. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
I've had my best luck doing something different than everybody else.
Obviously, I need to work a little harder on my stuff, but we'll get there.
You're heading in the right direction.
It's getting faster. That's the most important thing.
Yep.
And, I do hope you pick up a win this year. I know you've run second a lot.
I hope so, too.
Do you have a track? I mean, and I ask this question to everybody, but do you have a track, a place that's your absolute favorite?
It's kind of changed over the years. I got a love-hate relationship with Thunderhill. I talked about it in the first show. I haven't had any success down there with the late model. I haven't finished 3 of the 4. I'd like to get that corrected because I run pretty good down there normally. Run pretty good at Wichita. I don't really have a favorite right now. I guess it'll be the one I win at.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
You're headed to 81 Speedway this weekend, right? For
Yes, sir.
NCRA show?
Yes, sir. We ran pretty good down there. I think we've run second down there in about the last 4 times, and I'd like to correct that here one of these times as well.
I'm going to change the subject here real quick, just because I got a text message. Mike Truskowski's loving the shirt you're wearing, big guy.
Hey. Yep.
Maybe Mike's a farmer.
There you
Maybe
go,
he
Mike.
can explain to you how longhorn cattle grow their horn.
They have cattle. I'll
Do they? Yeah,
I'll
you better-
get Fred to explain that to me.
Mike, why don't you invite Bobby out for a weekend and have him?
You might want to do that off the air.
Yep. Oh, Fred and Mike, they're avid listeners of ours. Appreciate them tuning in every
Oh
week.
yeah, they listen to us all the time. They're
Yep.
great guys.
Yep.
Fred's kind of struggling all of a sudden, middle of the season.
Yeah.
And
part of that, I mean, those farming,
Dusty knows.
all that rain we got. Now it's just like they're trying to do 4 things at once, trying to cut wheat, plant stuff, and
And Bobby helps a ton of guys too. It doesn't matter what they drive, and I think if I'm talking out of turn, you can correct me, but you went over and helped Fred,
I did.
and you told him, Fred, we need to fix this,
Yeah.
and it didn't get fixed,
Yeah, I know.
and it broke,
It broke.
and I know you
Yeah.
felt miserable about that.
And it shouldn't. I mean, there was a tie rod that was kind of loose, and Fred, you ought to maybe replace this. Well, it broke.
At speed.
Then the tire went back and slammed into the frame and bent the upper control arm, and I don't know if I hope
Went
it didn't.
from
Hope it didn't bent the shock, but
went from a couple dollar fix to a little bit more than
Yeah,
a couple
a
dollar
little
fix,
bit.
couple $100 fix.
and
And they're
yeah,
good
I feel
guys.
bad.
They do a lot for people,
Yep.
just like you. This racing
Just-
family's kind of amazing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like going around and helping people. Yeah.
Yeah. see everybody improve. You know, by doing that, it helps your own program get faster. You don't have a choice that way.
Yeah.
You know, you got to keep working. It keeps that fire burning.
Yep, that's right. We, I've been over helping Derek Klima at Dirt Racing Source, and I don't know if you guys seen the wreck Kyle Oberding had a couple weeks ago. I think the late models were there, I believe.
Yeah, I had my hands full because
Yeah,
I think
That was a nasty wreck, if I remember that.
He slid off of turn 1 and went and backed it into the big tires out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Derek unbolted the fuel cell cage that the fuel cell sets in, and the whole rear clip fell off.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
it busted it clear off. So,
that's a big hit.
yeah. So he's over there fixing that, and I've been doing a lot of sheet metal work for him. So, waiting for Derek to get that fixed and doing the sheet metal work. But yeah, they take a lot of work all the time.
Yeah.
So I think you're telling us that Oberding's not going to make it this weekend?
Not this weekend.
Just
No.
not going to happen, is it?
No.
Yeah, sometimes
No.
you're going to have that over the racing season.
Yeah.
So how do you choose, Dusty? How do you choose between racing the late model Saturday night or the sport mod at Thunder Hill?
The late model takes precedence. It's our main car, and I'm very fortunate that Ted and Deb are very understanding with letting us go race the late model, and I'm kind of working with my schedule and everything else. Not many people would want to do that. I know they want to probably go race a lot more than what I've been able to, but they've been very understanding, and I was pretty happy to get a win for them.
Yeah, and congratulations on that win too.
Yes.
Thank you.
With big horsepower engines, and we don't have those anymore. The late model to succeed has got to go to the crate engine way. It just can't go back to the big horsepower engines. Salina used to be considered kind of a stop and go track. You use the brakes to get into the corner. Still do that?
Nope.
You just let it roll through.
Everybody that's
Because
racing.
I think that's where your buddy Bill is really messing up. But go ahead.
I think everybody's pretty much figured out it's a momentum thing.
Okay.
And the more that you learn to race with momentum, the better you're going to be. I think everybody's doing it. You can watch everybody out there. You don't see everybody taking a hard set getting into the corners anymore. Everybody's figured out how to get the cars to roll in there and turn, and they're doing it while they're still on the gas, and that's made all the cars faster.
And I think that's why Tyler Fry's come out of the box so fast in the modified, because of the sport mod. You got to keep them.
You got to keep them wound
keep
up.
them wound up and rolling, because they're a little bit underpowered, and he's driving his modified the same way, and
Yep.
he's
And he's
found
doing
some
good.
success with that. He's doing good. Yep.
It's tough to tell somebody to get into the corner without using the brakes. I think some of us have a lot of rear brake in, depending upon the track conditions, to get the car to turn too. But you got to get right. You got to stay in the gas.
Yep. You do.
And use the proper amount of brakes at the proper time. And just figuring out that for every car, every track. There's a lot of things that go into it.
Speaking of brakes, Bill,
Yes.
Friday night, did a car come off the track coming at you pretty quick the other night?
It come off the track pretty quick, but I was not there. Thank you for that.
Shannon
I was
Johnson.
Down towards pit shack, a little farther down the way. So
Shannon got into turn 3,
Oh.
and the car was a little tight and pushed, and the heat race was almost over anyway, and it was either like exit the track or take a chance and maybe hit that big tire at the beginning of the wall. Well, he exited the track,
Which was the wiser decision,
Yeah.
just as long
Yeah.
as nobody's there.
except for there was a red pickup sitting there.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what he said. Oh, I'll bet. But luckily he missed it. And
he did.
I don't know whereabouts you were, but I'm sure he came down the hill pretty quick.
he come downhill pretty quick, and I was down by the pit shack. So I had some
Yeah.
distance between us, but I
Yeah.
did see it.
So that was
I did see it.
a bad thing that could have happened that didn't. So
Yep.
I was thankful for all that. Phil, talk a little bit about on the first show. You're going to do a little racing this summer in August.
Yes, I
do a
am.
little road racing. You was showing us some pictures of the cars. It's kind of a mock-up of Bill Elliott's car. It's kind of cool looking.
Bill Elliott's, I believe it's 1988 Ford Thunderbird, the car that he won his first million in.
Cool.
I was 4.
Actually says $1 million bill.
You
on
were
it.
4.
Dusty was 4
How come he keeps bringing up his age?
because he's the
I'm
kid
not
of the group.
30. But yeah, It's kind of like NASCAR style bodies and stuff. NASCAR style roll cages and everything in them cars. So.
And you showed us a picture of the other car. Of course, they're in 2 different classes. This is going to be a deal where they run 4 or 5 classes all at the same time.
I believe so.
On the road course.
I know it's team. I know there's several cars per team and stuff. I know there's 1 car per deal. It just varies. It's kind of like, almost kind of like the Rolex.
They were 24 hours,
they have different classes all up on the track and stuff. So we put this all together. I know there'll be some foreign cars in there, but I'm going to leave them in my dust.
There you go.
You better.
You're
You're wearing my fire suit.
Heck yeah.
Yes, I'll be wearing Dusty's fire suit. Yes, you bet.
Go drive the wheels off that thing.
That's the advantage of it, though.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to do what I can. All I know is I told the captain of the team that we have to wear the race receivers, of course. I just told him, don't yell at me too much if I put too much scratches on the car. That's, and play Pink Floyd in the background for me, and we'll be fine.
So Pink Floyd. He's on his Pink Floyd kick. But, so do you know how many different drivers there's going to be for the one car?
I really don't know. The last time I heard of this type of races being done was at Daytona. There was over 96 cars.
Okay.
I do know.
But I mean, how many different drivers for each car? Like the car you're going to drive, how many?
I believe there'll be 4 of us.
Okay.
Some of them can have up to 9 or even 18 drivers.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Depending on how many hours they put in, they usually run an average of 2 hours per driver.
So I'm going to change the subject on you again.
Go ahead.
It's what I do best.
Go ahead.
Just because you give me a minute here to break in here, what's your favorite Pink Floyd song?
Oh,
what's my favorite?
Pink Floyd song.
Oh, Comfortably Numb.
Comfortably Numb.
Comfortably Numb.
Okay.
It's my favorite.
If our magician over there could play it, I'd have him playing it right now. Comfortably Numb. Yeah. He's grinning at me like, yeah, no.
I love that song.
You don't even know who Pink Floyd is, do you?
That was, again, BD. Can't help that, guys.
Hey, there's a story about you two. Did you find him walking along the road somewhere and you brought him back?
I knew this was coming.
And you brought him back?
Go for it.
Well, yeah. I get a phone call. When I was at the hotel. We were racing a 3-day swing and get a phone call that he's stranded. Like, all right, what the hell happened? And he's like, I think the alternator went out on my pickup. I'm like, all right, where you at? He's like, I'm alongside the interstate. I'm like,
which one?
Like right beside it or
I'm
off
down by that grandma's restaurant or something. I can't remember.
And
the
he
name
goes,
of
well,
that
I made
place.
it all the way off and over at the Pilot or Flying J or what.
Like that, Pilot
and
or something,
so he's like, can you come get me? I'm like, well, yeah. I said, there's no parts stores open, so we can't really do anything. I'm like, I'll come get you. So I come over and pick him up and bring him back in the middle of the night. Not too many people I'd do that for.
1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. He was the only person I knew at the time that had to be up, whose phone number was in my cell phone.
You don't have my number, do you?
I don't have your number.
Good.
good.
I was getting ready to hand you my phone.
I'll give it to you. That's fine. So then you had to fix him the next day?
He fixed himself. I worked on my car, and I'm like, I'd love to help you out, but we're going to race in Dodge City tonight. You're kind of on your own, but here's some tools.
And you had ignition wire problems. There's something, didn't you? Starter wire problems.
Yeah, I was fighting starter problems and constant struggle.
Yeah.
He had the alternator, I had the starter problems.
Electrical.
Yep.
Always something electrical.
It is.
No, Bruce come and got me and took me down to the parts house and got the parts and everything, and he just supervised, made sure I did the job right. That's all. So
back on your way.
very much
That's the
not a
racing
problem
family
anytime.
at its finest.
Yep.
I mean, that's
that
what we
is
do.
racing family
Yep.
right there. I mean, I'm not even real racer here, so.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you
You're
are.
a big part of the family because if we don't have the officials, the fans, and everybody else, it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's right.
Okay, and we are kind of getting to the end of our program here tonight, and I put you on the spot earlier, so maybe you're ready. Let's talk about your sponsors before we end it. Can you remember them this time?
Do I get to use a note card?
Sure.
All right.
Would you make one up in between?
Yes, I did.
Cheater.
At least he learns, right?
Yeah, had to learn quickly. Feldkamp Furniture, Bryce Leonard Insurance, 7D Longhorns, United Bank and Trust, RNG Tools, Latta Plumbing, BSB Manufacturing, RV Martin Farms, M&M Tires, Enid's Automotive. Just good old-time racing photos with Gary Cornelison out of Wichita.
Okay.
Fast shafts, drive shafts. It's a sweet treat day bakery, body hanger, metals, and fab sales, lawn barber, and Todd's Tires. And everybody else that helps us out.
You know, I do got to tell you, we run receivers, and every once in a while it confuses me for just a nanosecond, because when we get ready to line back up, I always hear her say 7D.
Oh,
Just line up there sometime. Just do it.
Yeah.
70.
7D
Yeah.
instead of 7D.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yep.
Yeah.
I should run up there sometime. I'll pull up beside him.
Just
Yep.
do it.
Told me to.
Yeah, Sid, get
I'm
up
pretty,
here.
you know, if it's line, I'm pretty sure Denise will get a kick out of it. She'll get it straightened out.
I always
It
told
is
you to do
confusing,
chop
Bob.
I bet
I
it
mean,
is.
Yeah.
It's just that I know where I'm running,
bet.
and I know that I'm not up there with you.
Well, you think about it, we've got 7D, 70, and then 70T with Terry Mohm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of us right there at the same number.
All sounds
If it's
same.
any consolation, I get the same thing on my clipboard and lineup sheets when I see you two are in the same race. The D almost looks like a 0 in the dark. So
Well, let me start in one of his positions one time. He won't know the difference.
Yeah, I will. The view will change.
The view will change.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'd be up there for like a second or so, and then it'd be all yours. Oh, gosh. I enjoy racing with you. I really do. It's a lot of fun.
I enjoy racing with you as well, and you know, the friendship that we built outside of the race cars, and you know, Bobby and Phil here as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's
you know,
fun.
This really makes racing go round.
yep.
Yeah, my buddy Bobby couldn't even make it up to where we were pitted at Thunder Hill. You know, you and I pitted beside each other. But Phil here makes sure I get out of the car, and he hands me a bottle of water. You know, it was
Yeah.
hot and muggy that night.
Yeah, it
and-
was.
I thought it was
It
pretty
was.
comfortable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
It was. I
Uh-huh.
would, if we raced like that every single night with that temperature, I'd be comfortable with it.
You know, once we got going on the racetrack, it was almost chilly.
Well, from all the sweat,
It
it was. It's having AC.
It was like somebody turned the air conditioner on. I'm
Wow.
not lying. Of course, he was thrashing. He had fuel pump problems,
And
power
then
steering pump
Did you
problems.
end up
That's what-
exploding the right rear tire
Yes,
too?
I did. I don't know what I ran over.
I was going to say you had to have run over something.
Yeah, it got really good for about 2-3 laps in there, and then it started pushing like a dump truck. And I thought I exploded a drive shaft. It made so much racket when it blew up.
Oh yeah, it come. apart and-
I thought I saw something coming off of turn 2, but you know I drive so much slower than you. I can see that stuff
I
quicker.
really doubt that's the case. But you might have seen something. It might have even fallen off my car. I don't know.
Oh,
Hard
shoot.
to see.
It is.
But yeah, it's a pleasure racing with you, and I do enjoy the friendships I've developed with all of you guys. It's the racing family thing. It's hard to explain to everybody else. Anybody else you need to thank?
I got to thank my parents. They put up with a lot, helping me out with chores when I'm trying to work on the race car and double up. Joyce Emke, Bryce, everybody at work. I mean, they put up with crazy hours for me trying to keep everything straight and going, and a lot of sleepless nights to make it all work, but it's worth it.
Yeah, good, because we couldn't do it. You know, we need to grow this class somehow, and
Yeah.
and you're a great competitor. I hope you get a win sometime soon, and maybe this weekend you'll pick one up.
I'd sure like that.
You know, Phil, and thank you as well. You know, you drive over to the racetrack from, I don't know where you live exactly.
Paxico.
That's a trip. You know, that's
is,
an
yeah.
hour and 10 minutes, hour and 20.
About an hour and 10 minutes, thereabouts, yeah. But when you do something you love to do, there's no miles there. So.
Bobby knows that.
So you got any people that, I mean, you, of course, came over and went to work for Tommy. Things are going good there, I take it.
Yes, everything's going good.
Good,
Yes.
good.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I love working. I love doing this.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yep.
I don't have sponsors like he does.
No,
to
you don't,
thank
but
or
that's all
nothing,
right.
But I can say to all the promoters who own racetracks, thank you for letting guys like these race. Thank you for opening the venues. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah,
There
thank
you
the
go.
fans
Yeah.
for coming
Yeah.
out each and every week.
You know, and that's something. You know, guys, fans, if you watch this, you see this. You know, Dusty's one of the most approachable guys at the end of the night you could ever meet. You know, that
he is.
picture on Facebook with you and Jaden.
Yep.
Yeah,
Last
the
week at the
little-
races.
Yeah, with the little kid races and stuff. That's
Oh, yeah.
perfect. You know,
Power
that's
wheels.
yeah, that's Dusty. You know, and And, we need to get more people to come down and see these guys at the end of the night, and visit with them. That's one of the reasons we do all that. Well, he does it to win, so.
Well, there's not a whole lot of other reason to strap in, is there?
That's right.
I did. Had wife was saying that and everything. Saw that picture and thought, this is one of your friends at the racetrack. He is so something else to have a kid like that.
Yeah. Come on down and visit with him. He's a great guy. All the racers will talk with you after
Yes.
the races. Take a few minutes. Support your local racetrack wherever it may be.
Yes.
Salina Speedway's got a great race coming up this weekend. It's the Topless Challenge. We aren't on the schedule, but it'll be fun to go watch.
I think they should have had us
Come
on
on
the
out.
schedule.
You would race every Friday, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Why not?
I know. That's why we got them for.
I had a hard time last year at the end of the year getting out of the car. It's having a lot of fun, and we kept getting better and better with it. And, I was hoping it would carry over a little bit better momentum-wise to this year. But
It's one of the things I heard from a driver about when Bill was saying what you think about and stuff. And one of the drivers, this was a long time ago, told me this. When the shield goes down, they always ask themselves, what am I doing? But when it's all over with and they open the shield back up, they always ask, when can I do that again?
Yep, that'd be accurate.
I guess I do have a question, then, that leads me to this. You're out there getting ready to go green. Lights are out. You're coming around to get the green flag, feature time. You know who you're racing around. What are your thoughts?
Just hit my marks going into one, because if not, that might hurt. That or, we've probably made some changes to it, and I really hope this works out. You're going to know right after I do. Usually don't get too wound up. Just nice and easy. Take a deep breath and relax, and then we go.
Pull the belts tight. Do you have any ritual in the car when you're back there?
No, not really. Put gloves on about the same. Hook the Hans up the same. Other than that, it's just take a nice deep breath and relax and just kind of clear my head. And after that time, it's time not to think and just react.
Are you picking out who you can pass and where you might want to pass them at?
My goal is to pass everybody, and it's just to go where they're not. So I don't really think too much about it.
Okay. You don't care who you're around or anything like that?
No, don't really think too much about it.
Even if it happens to be me in front of you?
One of these times it's going to happen. I'm going to love tap you. Just lift you on the start or something.
Boy, that one start we had 3 weeks ago was way too slow for me. I'm telling you that much. I hate those, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother subject.
Yes,
but,
it is.
All right.
How about yourself?
Oh, there's times when I ask myself, what the hell are you doing out here?
Really?
Yeah.
Never think that. Just
But then
go.
once the green flag goes, it's all business.
Yeah.
I don't care where I finish. It's all business. And what I'm trying to do in there is find a place where that car runs the best.
Yep.
It's hard for a colorblind guy to do it. I'm telling you straight up.
Yep.
You got to do it by feel.
Yeah, you do.
So, all right. Any other questions, Bobby?
I think we're good.
We had John Feldkamp scheduled to come in with you guys tonight. Under the weather, actually went home from work. And if you know John,
That takes a lot.
that takes a lot.
He's a
So,
hard-working individual.
John, I
and
hope you
he's a great
get the
supporter
feeling
of us.
better. Oh, man, he is a great supporter. Loves racing.
You guys will have to introduce
he
me
does.
to him.
I will.
Yep.
I'd like to meet him.
Yep.
He's
We
a
will.
great guy, really is, and you'll find him at the racetrack somewhere, and I'll introduce him to you. He's
Okay.
a good guy.
Okay.
Yep.
Phil, any final thoughts?
No, sir.
Thanks for making the drive over. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me up here. Thanks for putting up with me.
And again, Dusty, you too. Thanks for making the drive. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
This will be on YouTube. You can go look at it later.
No, I'm not
It-
going to
it'll
watch
be
it
fun.
again. I lived it in person.
Thank you for coming down. I
Yep,
really
not a
appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you guys for having me. I enjoyed it.
You? Any final thoughts?
Nope.
Any more cow questions?
I was just getting
No,
ready to
I learned all about cows tonight.
I was just getting ready to say I'm going to dive into this longhorn cow.
Bobby Potts, Dave Severia, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Great group of guests. We'll see you right here in a couple of weeks. Good night, folks. He's never going to live that one down.
No.
Hey, your family's waiting on you. Why don't you go ahead and take off? I'll help him put this stuff away.